I'd like to call to order the council meeting for the city of Nelson, June the 7th, 2021. Let's take a moment and have a moment of prayer. John Oliver here. Could you lead us in a word of prayer, please?
Sure. So Heavenly Father, we just coming over to you. We bow our hearts and minds and recognize your greatness and your awe and your love for us. So Father, we recognize the plan you have for each one of us and for the city of Nelson. And we ask that you today will bring the peace and joy and clarity of mind, that the council can pick up the will of the citizens and what is in your purpose for this community. So we are all glorifying you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
David, would you lead us in allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
because you got
We need an amendment.
Oh, you need
I need to make amendments 9A, Walter Walker, to go in front of 7, right after public hearing. Did you say right after public
Right
hearing?
for public hearing. Can I get a second
I'll second that.
amendment to move Welch Walker to, right
after
after?
number 6.
Okay. All in favor? Yes, thank you. Okay. I'd like to take a few minutes to, for public appearance. Does anybody have anything that they would like to say? Ms. Chloe?
I'm Chloe Martin and I live at 1874 Kennesaw Avenue. Myself and 17 plus other kids and families would like to address the concerns towards the parks and basketball courts. The basketball court on Higgins Street is too small and the basketballs go in the road about 50% of the time when we play. The fence is too short for the basketball court. How are we supposed to play basketball safely on a court that isn't large enough? The court on School Street is jumpy. The wall is falling down and the basketballs end up in the sewage creek area, making us have to watch out for snakes. We have already seen 2 down there and a fresh layer of snake skin. We shouldn't have to be on the lookout when we're just trying to have fun. The basketball goals aren't the same height and the nets are broken. The nets have already been placed once. The small rocks on the bench area always end up on the court, making it difficult to play basketball safely. I have fallen several times and I've seen others as well. The basketball courts on Pickens Street and School Street need to be updated for the good of our community. Thank you for considering our suggestions.
Thank you, Ms. Chloe. That was really nice, Chloe. I like to see our kids get involved, and that was a nice speech.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else that would like to address the council? Okay, I'll take that as a no, and let's move on to our public hearing for our 2020 budget. Can I get a motion I need a motion to open the hearing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion to open the hearing for the 2022 budget?
I make a motion, we open the hearing for the 2022 budget.
Can I get a second?
I'll second the opening.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Is it on the microphone? Can you guys hear us back there? That's better, I can hear now. Okay. All right, Miranda, do you want to go over the, is there any public comments for the 2022 budget? For those of you that did not know that we were having our public hearing today, it's on our websites, but please feel free to reach out to us and we can send you a copy of that so you can review it. and get back to us with any questions. Wanna go through the,
Well, we'll get down to discuss it.
so we're just opening it now?
Yeah, just for the public, that's just the public.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we close it for public hearing. Okay, can I get a motion to close the public hearing for the 2022 budget?
Make a motion to close the public hearing for 2022 budget.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay. All right, Welch Walker and Associates to bring our report audit for the 2020 year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, no, we appreciate the opportunity to get to work with you guys again. Of course, this audit was done a few months ago. We've had some problems aligning our schedules, and with all of the COVID closures, we came in later than we would have liked to. We've all dealt with that for the last year or so. And we appreciate the patience of the city while we caught up on our own schedule, trying to get everybody taken care of in the middle of this, let's call it a crazy pandemic. So anyway, that being said, I mentioned to both Kelsey and the mayor when I talked to them separately that the financial information in here is probably not as relevant. We're about to finish our next fiscal year, so I thought what the best use of your time would be is just to look at the findings. And those are what's most important at this point, because you guys have been reviewing your financials and everything since we've been here to do the audit. So if you want to go to page 27 with me. Let's just look at our audit report findings. I would like to say that the City of Nelson continues to improve, and we're very grateful for that. There's a lot of hard work on Miranda and Kelsey's part and all of you. And so we just wanted to make sure that we noted tonight that we are seeing improvement year by year. And so while we did have some findings this year, what we are finding is it's more of just small errors that we can fix, and from this point forward, just little things that we're finding, but no major issues. So that's probably good to hear as a council member. So let's start on page 27. We did give you a clean opinion, as we have in the last few years, and we did have some findings. The first one is the segregation of duties. You're used to seeing this. I don't know if we'll ever not have this one, but we're required to report to the state that you are a small staffed city and you don't have the 4 to 5 members in the finance office that it takes to properly segregate duties so that you have a system of checks and balances in place. Typically that takes 4, preferably 5, and what that means is that one person has a job with a level of oversight from someone outside of that position who can actually supervise and look in an unbiased way. They're not involved. So if I make the deposits, I'm not going to touch the check writing. And if I am writing the checks, then I'm not going to touch the invoices. Well, we all know that Miranda and Kelsey are doing all they can, just with the 2 of them. We don't need 4 people in the finance office. So what we continue to encourage you to do is to just be active in the financial activities of the city. So we like that council members and mayor sign checks and look at invoices. And that means you're involved and you see what's going in and out of the city. And that also adds a layer of protection for Kelsey or for Miranda, since they're actually dealing with the invoices and that type of thing.
And just for anybody here that don't know, we always have a copy of any expenditures, checks that we write out of the city every month. So if anybody needs to see that, you can always come down and pick up a copy of that. Any check that's written out of here, you're welcome to look at.
Very good. So that's the first one, segregation of duties, and we've been giving you that one as long as you've been audited. So I've been doing this audit a very long time, and you've always got it from me. So. The second one is material adjustments and maintenance of the general ledger. Again, we've seen this one for several years. The goal is for us to come in and do the audit and not have to make any journal entries. So that isn't always possible when we're coming in to convert kind of from a cash to accrual and making audit type journal entries. I will tell you those are significantly less than they used to be. But when we have to come in and make journal entries, then we give this comment. What we've encouraged Kelsey to do when we've talked to her about this is to check in on your sub-ledgers more often during the year. Monthly, if you could, that may not be realistic, maybe quarterly. And look at the accounts receivable from sanitation fund. See if it ties to what the trial balance says and go ahead and make those adjustments. Property taxes would be the same thing. Your accounts payable ledger for the vendors that you owe. Let's just make sure that that AP ledger shows the correct invoices and we don't have a mistake, something maybe that should have been voided that wasn't, those type of things. And so that would cut down some on the entries for these material adjustments when we come in to do the audit. Easy fixes, and again, these are not major issues, it's just that when we have to make journal entries over a certain dollar amount, we're required to put that comment in the report.
I think some of those entries that you guys had done and then Miranda had done also, so they had to be reversed. So I think there was just a timing thing.
There
So,
was, I think on some of them, they
Yeah.
had been done post-year instead of in the fiscal year.
Yeah.
And so, so that was some of the journal entries for sure. The third comment, I'm sorry, I'm on page 28, is the reconciliation of cash. So we did have some problems reconciling cash, and I think this is again what you're talking about that we thought that Miranda thought she'd fix, but it was just in the next fiscal year. So we just need to make sure that cash is reconciled. We find that most of our errors are a lot of times just when we're transferring, it's in the recording of the transfer of cash, not in the actual transfer, it goes in the correct bank. But that's where we see some of our errors, and you'll see that we actually note a couple of those in the finding. And so we've talked to Kelsey and Miranda and the mayor about that, about just trying to make sure that when cash is reconciled, and if we do make adjustments, we'll just make them in the time period that they occurred, and then that will fix that problem.
And just for the folks listening, I know that some of you may know or may not know, she had a loss of her husband, and that's some of the stuff that threw our journal entries off. She wasn't to where she could do it at the time that her husband passed away, and it ended up being after the fact. So it was an issue, it was a finding, and then she corrected it, but then also corrected it, so. Yeah, they didn't fix it again, so. But we do appreciate you guys working with us.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, on the bottom of 28 is the repayment of interfund balances. We had a balance that general fund owed SPLOST in the old audit, not in the current one, so this would have been the 2019 audit. And when it was paid, it was actually transferred twice during fiscal year 2020. So as we stood at the end of this audit, again, remind you that 11 months have passed since this fiscal year, but at the end of this audit, that transfer had been made twice. And so at June 30th, we just reported that it needed to be transferred back. The good news is that the SPLOST money was where it was supposed to be, and it was not a SPLOST issue. I just wanted to emphasize that. Not a SPLOST issue, just happens to involve the SPLOST account. But it's that general fund money was in the SPLOST account. It had just been duplicated as a transfer. And so hopefully by now that's been remedied, and if not, we'll just have to do it. Yeah, okay. Very good, very good. So those are the findings that are actually in the report, because they're either the segregation of duties, which is important, but the other are just due to the dollar amount of entries and things that we found. That's how those things land in the report. We did mention a few things in a letter outside of the report, and your audit report refers to that. And these are things that we don't consider large enough or material enough that it needs to go inside your audit report and be reported to the state. These are more our recommendations of things that maybe could be done differently, just our thoughts, ideas, hey, you might want to follow up on this. And so we did give you a few of those. One was that we talked about, I actually have this on my phone, so I promise I'm not being rude, they're just on my phone. Just a quick reminder, when we did the audit, you did not qualify for 1099s and hit that $600 mark. We just put in the report, just in case it comes up, remember that if council gets paid more than $600, that you'll require a 1099. You didn't do anything wrong, we just wanted to put that on your radar. And that we also wanted you to look at the wages for salary versus hourly, and maybe just make sure that you've got those designations correct, and if someone's salary, that they're within the the confines of being able to be salary, and if they're considered hourly, making sure they're being paid hourly. And so we just need to do some research on that position. We're not saying you did anything wrong, just kind of as a reminder that let's look at that together and make sure that we've got some of that done correctly. Okay. We talked about the digest. We found some discrepancies in what we thought should be on the digest as far as exemptions and that type of thing. And so Kelsey's been researching that, and we've still been in conversations with Kelsey recently. She's talking to Cherokee County. We just want to make sure that your tax digest is being billed correctly, exemptions are being done correctly. And so we had some questions that we just wanted to make sure with Cherokee County we were doing things correctly. And we've already talked about these subledgers and things that need to be checked between accounts payable, accounts receivable, and the general ledger, which is more of Miranda and Kelsey just doing those reconciliations quarterly, monthly, whatever makes sense. So, and those were our findings this year. Much different report than I've been able to give in the past. So we were really, really pleased.
I appreciate it. Council, do you have anything for?
No, thank you for coming down and explaining everything to us.
No problem, you're welcome.
We appreciate it, you guys can call me anytime you're ready.
Okay, well, we'll excuse ourselves if that's okay.
It's
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from May the 3rd, 2021, please?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for May the 3rd, 2021.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the May 26th, 2021 minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for May the 26th, 2021.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay. Department reports. Lieutenant Downey is with us today, and he has brought some of his folks that you guys will be seeing in our neighborhoods and in downtown Nelson. You guys want to introduce yourself?
So she said ourselves. I'm Corporal Jack Warrenwhiter. I work with the Sheriff's Office as well to our newly assigned ball ground precinct. I'm also a member of our K-9 unit.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, next week.
Evening, I'm Deputy Cameron Cox. Been with the Sheriff's Office for about 6-7 years, and I'll be at Ball Ground Precinct.
Thank you, sir.
Afternoon, everybody. Deputy David Moss, Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. I've been with the agency coming up on 16 years as of next year. I've served at ADC in, I think it's my 4th precinct in 16 years. It's a pleasure to be here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to talk to us, write down anything, we'll talk. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I also think he was just beating a basketball game in the park over there. So then we'll be back and play on that new basketball court. These guys are friends. So I know the council already knows who I am, but I am Lieutenant Downey. For those of you who haven't been to the meetings, I've been saying for, I guess it's been a couple months now, that we're going to open up a ball ground precinct, and the city of Nelson is included in that. But historically, our traffic unit has worked out of that precinct, and we're located at Even Flow and Highway 5. You'll see the fire department on one side, and we're actually on the other side of the building. But we have finally, one of the sheriff's visions, I guess, going into the second term, was to open a precinct to where we can have response times cut down and be able to respond to calls in the city of Nelson, Ball Ground, and between Waleska and Freedom area in a quicker response time. And so June 1st, last Tuesday, was our first day at the precinct. I like seeing all the teenagers in here. Do not be afraid to talk to us. We are here for y'all, right? We'll even come down and I'll beat you in basketball. He might not we've had some lunch. But we're really excited. These are some of the guys that you're going to see around the city and outside the city. But we also have some people working on the weekends who aren't here tonight as well. And so I wanted to bring them tonight so y'all can kind of put some faces with the area and realize that, you know, we're here for y'all.
But I'll get started with the crime report for May. And when I read this, for those of you who haven't been here, you got to think this is inside the city limits of Nelson. And I know that we're split between us and Pickens County, so this is just Cherokee side of it. We had a total of 7 calls for the month inside the city. We had 1 suspicious vehicle, 2 domestics. We had 2 what we call informational reports. 1, we had some stolen property that was recovered in the city by your city workers. We were able to determine that we had 2 bicycles, mountain bikes, that were stolen off of Fairview Road, if y'all are familiar with that, right off 5. In the bushes, I think, while they were cleaning or cutting the grass or something, brought them up here to City Hall. Then we were able to start pulling reports in the area and determine who the owners were, so that was nice to be able to return those bikes. And then we had 1 juvenile call. With that said, it's not like we have a lot of crime in the city, right? But we are here to help enforce traffic as well and to answer any calls for service, whatever they may be inside and outside the city. I'm going to leave some business cards out here as we leave. And if you guys want to grab one, it's got my email address on it and my phone number. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. If the sheriff can't get in touch with me, then something's wrong, so I carry this all the time. So y'all will be able to get in touch with me, all right? But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our doors are open if you guys want to stop by for a cup of coffee sometime when you're in there. Please feel free to do so.
I'm sorry?
There's a bathroom.
Pickens County side.
As far as,
Patrolling, I live on 1100 Pickens Street, I've turned in complaints several times. Vehicles, 60 miles an hour to their on 25.
is this one of the areas that we're going to put a speed
It's
sign
in
on?
Pickens County, but you guys were gonna,
Yeah.
up past Marcia and Heaton's house.
So,
North.
and that's,
Marcia knows, she lives right by me.
yeah. The thing is I don't have any control over Pickens, but what I can do is call, right? And our sheriff has a great relationship with their sheriff. And, if we have issues that are going on that's not being addressed, I promise you that will be taken care of. As far as speed detection and things like that, for those of you who haven't been to previous meetings, we actually have used some of our Cherokee County Sheriff's Office speed boxes to take data to collect how fast people are actually driving when it pertains to speed humps and whether or not we're doing permanent, temporary, or whatnot. So, I can only go so far to assist in that, but however, I have no problem reaching out to Sheriff Craig and Sheriff Reynolds.
But it's not just Pickens side, there's Cherokee as well. It's all over the city.
Right. But anytime you have complaints like that, the easiest thing to do, if you can't get in touch with me, which is highly unlikely because I have my phone all the time, is to reach out to the council and they will pass that information on to me directly. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Officer Downing.
You're welcome.
Next up is our mayor's report. I want to take this time to take a look at our SPLOST project balances. Our road projects in Nelson have started. So you're going to see Cherokee County, who is working with us to provide the labor and at a reduced rate, and also our materials and stuff. So we're working with them on Hillside. Old Nelson has already started up near the quarry there, and then Laurel Lakes will follow to do some road repair and some resurfacing in there. These projects were part of a DOT analysis. They came in, they looked at every road inside Nelson, and they made the determination. That wasn't something the council did or I did. So just so everybody's on the same page there. These projects, again, are being done jointly with Cherokee County, and it will clean up our roads and streets backlog for Cherokee SPLOST 3 and 4. We have the Kennesaw Avenue Drainage Project. We have some bush hogging that's coming up. We don't have a date for that yet, and it will be combined with some storm drain cleanup as well. We don't have a date for it. They're working on getting us a date for that. After these projects, we should be around $82,000 in backlog for roads and streets for Cherokee County 3 and 4. If you don't have a copy of our SPLOST project balance sheet, please reach out to me, reach out to Kelsey, we'll get you a copy of this, we can email it if need be. And Miranda, you just finished updating this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, our new Cherokee and Pick and Splosh accounts continue to grow and provide opportunities to improve our quality of life for our citizens here in Nelson. That those accounts have not been touched yet. Parks and Rec backlog, we have Cherokee Splosh 3 with 62,593. That's a backlog from 10 years. We have Cherokee 4 from 2016, 259,503. That's a backlog of 5 years, for a total of 344,492. Our Cherokee Splosh projects currently that are in progress that the council is looking at is our Pickens Street Park project. Our wall down here, the retaining wall, the Rebecca Lodge, which is we have rot and damage and it's falling in, so we have estimates on that to go over tonight. We also have trail paving, which we are working with Cherokee County to get some folks that will bid on it. It's a very small project and a lot of people are backlogged right now. We've had numerous folks call down and say, hey, we like the trail, but it would be easier for us if it was paved in some way. So we are looking at that. The Pickens Street project, to date, we have $10,000 spent on a rendering that is to scale. There's 2 photos out there. One is what the park looks like today, and I want to thank all of you youth that are here that keep that park clean. So I know you use it, and we appreciate you keeping it clean. We've also spent around $12,000 on the Pickens side for the building concrete and tree removal there. So those are SPLOST dollars. Please note that SPLOST dollars has been spent on the Pickens Street project. We have Parks and Rec backlog, which we just discussed. We have, again, SPLOST project dollars, or SPLOST dollars belong to the citizens. They don't belong to the city. We can't do anything with that money but spend it on you. So Pickens Street project has been in the capital improvement since 2013, which is 8 years. The citizens are in favor of the rendering. I've had numerous calls from some of you, some of the kids, some adults, and some people that are not here tonight. So the people that watch this on nopickens.com, I do appreciate your phone calls. I do appreciate your emails. Old Nelson citizens, we have roughly 50 citizens that are in favor of the rendering as it is. And then we have 70% of the tracks that we polled. We just polled whoever was home, and there was 100% that were in favor for our rendering. I had some calls with concerns. One is, do we have a group working with the city to clean up our back taxes? Yes, we do. We have delinquent tax associates that will be working to do that. It's in the best interest of our city because anything over 5 years, we can't actively pursue collecting on. So, and that's money that's not coming to the city. That's dollars that we're not collecting, and we do need those dollars since we try not to up our taxes here in the city. So we try to keep things minimal. So we do need people to pay their taxes. Our new website, it'll be launched this month. Be on the lookout for that. We will be having movies in the park this summer. So again, be on the lookout for that. I know you kids will enjoy that. If you have any movies you'd like to see, reach out to Kelsey or to the City Hall. Call down here and say, hey, just make sure it's PG, family rated. And we did have the house at 80 Blue Ridge demo last week, and that is complete. So tonight on the agenda, we're going to be looking at combining the 2 properties there, and then per our charter, we will either auction or bid it. So council will need to look into that. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Hey Sylvia, I wouldn't mind helping on that website part as far as getting a hold of Sue Cochran or see if we can get some historical pictures put up on it and some background and that kind of thing.
I think that would be great. Does anybody else like to volunteer to work on the our new website? No. Okay. Anybody have any questions for me with regards to what we just discussed? Yes,
I just
ma'am.
have one, and maybe you covered it. Do you have any kind of an ETA on the wall that's caving in? We just discontinued using, using that court, just moved over to the field. But it would be really great if it was, if it was secure and I knew it was safe when classes start August 2nd.
We're going to discuss that tonight. We've got some bids for engineering. We need it because it's a SPOS project, and I don't know who did the engineering before, but it was poor design and our courts rippling, and we really need to have an engineer look at it for drainage purposes and stuff like that, so we don't end up with rot. I know the council's been in favor of a poured wall. We've had a couple people that's been interested in doing a rock wall, but we are going to be discussing that here shortly in this meeting. Anything else? Okay. That concludes mine, and I'm going to turn it over to Miranda for a finance, or for our finance report.
Our statement of revenues and expenditures, currently our revenues are at $629,278. That is over our revenue, or over our expenditures, $133,647. That's to date. I'm currently working on getting the amendments done, waiting on a couple of different things to come in to make sure that we're right on cue with where we need to be with our amendments and adopting them at the end of this month. So that's pretty much that as far as we're doing really well. Again, like I said, revenues are exceeding our expenditures of $133,647. Currently, in our general fund budget, or our general fund bank account, we have $628,642. Our special revenue fund of the SPLOST 3, which is the old Cherokee, is $74,719. Our SPLOST 4, which is our older Cherokee, not the oldest, but the older, is $664,239. Our SPLOST 2, which is our older SPLOST for Pickens, is $586,619. The new Cherokee SPLOST currently is at $492,393. And our cash fund, cash reserve fund is $166,300. And our new Pickens SPLOST that started last year is at $252,775. Any questions on finance? Other than that, that's about all I've got until we get to the end of the month.
Have you heard anything on the second phase of the COVID relief fund?
We have not. We have started the process of getting all the checks and balances for getting ready to apply for that. There's a couple of different webinars that are coming up over the next couple
I
weeks.
can see that.
Yeah, so once we sit through that, we kind of know more of an idea. As far as disbursements or anything like that, I have no idea as far as like amounts or what the city would be.
I've been on calls monthly with the counties and our governor and stuff, and they don't.
I think it's depending upon which municipalities will actually apply for it is going to depend on what the disbursements possibly could be for the city. So, yeah, I don't have anything on that until after we.
They were generous to us last year, or at the last cycle, and we recovered what was almost $60,000.
Yes, and that's one of the things that doing the budget amendments, going back through and making sure that all of that is correct as far as the account and the money that come in and the money the expenditures went out. So, yep.
Anything else?
That's all I have on that.
Okay. Next up is unfinished business. Discuss and vote on the IGA with Cherokee County Pickens Street Park project. What I do know is that Cherokee County has already approved the project, and they have a project manager assigned to the project when we're ready to start.
And don't we save money also by having them?
Yeah, I mean, we're not having to pay for project manager or somebody to do the administrative part of the SPLOST project, which is all filing all the paperwork with count of the state and stuff. Yeah, it does. They handle the bid process for us, similar to the same thing that they did here for Kennesaw Avenue Drainage Project. questions? You just want to vote on it? Okay. Can I get a vote on, a motion to vote on the IGA for Cherokee County for the Pickens Street Park project?
I'll make a motion for us to vote on the IGA Cherokee County project for the IGA agreement.
Okay, can I get a second?
Can we put the two together, because one of them versus the other, I mean, they gotta go together,
Who you talking about?
the C and D.
No, one
Okay,
is
it's
a project, one is an IGA with the county, and the other one is the construction drawings that's separate.
Yeah. I'll second it for discussion.
Okay. All in favor?
For,
For the IGA?
Well, I thought we were gonna discuss it.
Well, he did, this was a motion to, this is a motion to vote for the IGA with the Cherokee County for the Pickens Street
Okay.
project. Did you understand that? When you made the
well,
motion?
I seconded it where we can discuss it if we wanted to discuss it, but I'm ready to vote.
That was a vote.
I
That's
didn't
what it
vote.
was.
I said a second.
Okay.
I thought he was seconding Susan so we could open it up for discussion.
No, you don't have to, I mean, we can just open it, you have to make a motion to vote on it. So, but you're welcome, let's back it up and we can make a motion.
I'd rather vote on the other first, but they both gotta go together, right?
No, they don't go together. One is
No, it's two separate.
one is an IGA, it's intergovernmental agreement with Cherokee County to allow them to work on a project for us, and just like they did on the Cherokee County project.
But this is for the Pickens Street Park.
It is. So, do we want to discuss it, or do we want to vote on it?
We can vote on it, I'm ready to vote.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the IGA with Cherokee County for the Pickens Street Park project?
I'll make a motion for the IGA Cherokee County Pickens Street Park project.
Can I get a
Agreement.
second?
I thought we were voting on it, didn't make a motion, right?
Yeah, we're voting, so Martha's seconding
I'll
it?
second the motion.
Okay, all in favor? So you second, are you in favor of it? Did you second it? Well, then why did you second it?
Well, I
Well,
mean,
you have to second it.
somebody's gotta second it.
I mean, you gotta open it up. there.
Somebody's gotta second it.
Okay,
Am I not right?
Yes. There has to be a second.
James is not here to,
James is not here tonight,
right, so I mean, we're missing somebody, somebody's got to.
so you voted to approve the
I did.
IGA with Cherokee County, you seconded it, now it's all in favor. So if you second it, are you not approving it?
I'm not agreeing with it, no.
Okay,
I
so you
mean,
don't want,
Just because I second it, don't mean that.
Well, not, you don't vote when you're second, that's the first part of the process.
well, it is a part of the process, but if you second it, then I would assume that you're for it.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to, because James is not here. I'm sorry.
We go ahead and vote, yes or no, can we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
No.
All in favor? One, opposed? Three, okay.
So does that mean that the park's not happening, or what does that mean?
I'll allow you to speak. That, I don't know, but you're welcome to speak. Please stand up. State your name and your address, please.
David Martin, 1874, Kennesaw.
I allowed it because I'm the chairman of this meeting. Go ahead.
So I'm kind of curious, we've got all this SPOS money, we've been talking about the same stuff for, I've been here almost 3 years now. We've talked about the same stuff and nothing happens with this council right here, absolutely nothing. It either gets tabled and moved on to the next council meeting, or it gets tabled and moves on for 4 months down the road, and then now we're not going to approve parks and stuff. Why are we even a city? Y'all go ahead and tell me that. Why don't we just go ahead and abolish the city and let both counties take over and let them do whatever they want to?
You figure out how to dissolve it.
Go for it, buddy.
Well, I did talk, speaking of dissolving, I did speak with the, because there is somebody that's out there touting that. So in dissolving the city, I'm glad you brought that up, it's a matter of, it takes more, one person can't make a phone call and dissolve a city. It takes a majority, a large percent of a community, of a city, to dissolve a city. What you're giving up, when I spoke to the governor's office, is there's a process for dissolving the city that requires a large percent of the people to agree. This would mean, depending on the county, to maintain your roads and streets without anybody overseeing it. This would mean maintaining your common areas, your parks, your trails, your fire services, your code enforcement, your zoning, your permitting, and many other areas of support, which the city now has the SDMs and the IGAs in place to work respectively with each county to ensure that the needs and requirements for these services are available to the citizens of Nelson. That's why you wouldn't. If you don't like what a council votes for, then you vote the council out. You don't dissolve a city.
It's just amazing to me that you got all these kids that come out now, play in all these parks and
I
stuff.
agree.
Y'all don't
bombarded
give a
with
crap
calls
about
from
these
mine.
kids right here. You don't care about them because y'all's kids don't go down
That's
to
your
play.
opinion.
Oh,
You just got
tell these kids
Hold on,
right
wait,
here, tell these kids right here how not approving a park for them and not making stuff better is
We didn't
better
not
for them.
approve it for it. We didn't approve the agreement with Cherokee because we don't need an agreement with them to do the work that that park needs.
So you're gonna spend more money, you're gonna waste more taxpayer money by trying to
Hold
sub
on,
it out
I-
yourself, but y'all can't get people to come and bid on stuff because y'all haven't come and bid, and then y'all say, oh, no, we're gonna hold off, and
I
then it's
think-
gonna go up for discussion again.
I think that the problem is that the process for spending SPOS dollars, have you read the SPOS, SPOS thing? Do you know what the process is for spending SPOS dollars?
You gotta decide if you wanna spend it at that particular
No, do you know what the
place, right?
process is, Councilman Hamby, for spending SPOS dollars? Anything over
No, explain it,
50,000?
explain it.
No, you've been on the council for 2 terms.
I'm voting the way I wanna vote.
I don't care how you vote, I'm asking.
You just carry on
David,
with
you
your
are
meeting.
running, the people are here and they want
Carry
to
on
know.
with your meeting.
I am carrying on. Have you read the SPOS document?
No, I haven't.
So there you go, folks, he has not read the SPOS document.
It has
Have
not.
any of y'all read the SPOS documents?
You have a process for spending SPOS money. The purpose of having an IGA with the county is so that the county can come in and they can help with project management, sending the forms to the state to make sure that things are done correctly. That was the purpose of that. We don't have the funds here in the city to project manage that job. Not the way it's supposed to be managed.
So the council agreed last month, I'm not correct, to do that agreement to do a drainage project down here. Is that correct or incorrect? That's correct. Okay, but when it comes to a park for these kids, y'all don't want that agreement. Now, how many times did y'all try to get bids down here for this thing here to do it yourselves? How long
We
did
didn't
it
try
go?
to do it ourselves. Well, we had an
Oh.
engineer do it.
Oh, okay, but y'all hired the wrong people, correct or incorrect?
I guess.
No, we did not. The engineer that was here, the county and the DOT found nothing wrong with those engineering drawings other than they needed to be amended to add the cul-de-sac.
Okay, so how come it went out for bid a couple different times? Did it not go out for bid a couple different times?
Because it came back and we had people that said that's too much, we're not spending that money on it.
And then now it's a lot more than what it was a year ago,
No,
correct?
it's actually $40-some thousand
Okay, so it's
less.
the same thing,
Plus
but,
you're getting a cul-de-sac.
Plus the cul-de-sac was added to this last one.
and, okay, so we're spending less money and getting more work done, and that was through an agreement with the IGA from Cherokee
Yes.
County? Huh, sounds like Cherokee County brought the right people in. So why would you try to do these parks yourself?
We're
That's
not
what I'm
trying to
saying.
do it ourselves.
Well, if you don't, okay, if you're not
This
doing it
one
yourself.
down here is the one we want to make, keep up, the one down here in town.
So you don't want, where these children are playing at
We
on
can
Pickens
fix
Street.
what's up there.
What are you gonna fix it with?
It's been working fine for how many years?
So they don't deserve it. Yes, I get you.
What are you
So-
talking about adding? I mean, you're looking at the
It's-
same thing.
our- our-
What's them kids gonna do with the parking lot?
Well,
What is it?
What's it gonna have?
What does that matter? The parking lot, it was up, so you guys voted, you've been here 2 terms, David. It's been on the agenda for 8 years.
How many times have I voted for
I
it?
have no idea.
Zero.
Well, there you go. You don't live down there, the people that do live down there, and
I
like
don't
I
live down
said,
here either.
you've got all these people that are for it, and yet the council is against it. You're not listening to your people, and you're an elected official.
The
and
biggest part of the money that's gonna be spent up there on that plan is for the parking lot and landscaping.
Not
Kids-
true. That
The kids want
multi-court
back
up there
places
is
to play.
$70,000. It's between $50,000 and $70,000 for a multi-court. And as far as the parking lot
We got a wall
goes, you can't.
falling down here and a
There's
basketball
plenty of
court that
money for
nobody can
that.
play.
There's plenty of money for that. There- You've got $344,000 for
For
that.
the kids up on Pickens Street, they like to play there because people can see them and it's a safer area.
Okay, I live there.
Go ahead, Mr.
Okay.
Conrad.
It's not that many kids come up there and play.
Exactly.
Okay,
Because the way the court is.
cause what?
The way the court is.
Well, I can't control how the court is, okay. But if you fix the court, that's all we need to be able to widen the court, put a new fence up there, and the kids have somewhere to play.
That's what we've been talking about, is just repairing the court and fixing.
But
the
if
parking
you
lot.
gonna put, you got, out the street in front of the house, you got the pavilion out there. So you wanna add grills and stuff, go out there and add grills and stuff.
We're not adding grills.
I'm just saying.
It's just a part, it's
Okay,
just
okay.
literally.
But right
slab
there,
with a thing on it.
but right there, all that's need is somebody go in there and grade out for the basketball court. Put a new fence up there, put a net up there so the ball don't go in the street. That's all they need. There's not that many kids come.
How do you, so the kids are here, how do you guys feel about that? Do you think you deserve something that's not, you have $344,000 of backlog. Do you think you deserve something nice as Ball Ground or nice as Pickens County? Or do you think that they should just go in and put you up a net and a fence?
It needs to be bigger.
That's what I've said. I just said that.
That's what it said.
That's what I said.
So in order to, so the process you're spending SPOS dollars, Mr. Caldwell, is anything that's over a certain dollar amount you have to fill out all the paperwork, you have to have engineered drawings. It's mandatory.
Do the work.
There you go, and that's what they're saying, they don't want to do that. They don't want to spend the money for the engineered drawings for that court to be put up there.
Our money.
Your money, you're right. You're right, it is your money.
But it's very
my money,
simple.
It's anybody's money.
It's very simple. Okay. The kids is not gonna drive no cars up there and park on the asphalt. They gonna play basketball. Widen the park. Put them up a new fence up, high enough. And let them play.
Well, that is part of the plan, anyway. It's just to make it a nice area. I don't understand what the problem is, making it a nice area. I don't know why that's an issue.
The biggest area up there is the parking lot though, is mine.
No, it's not. If you look at the rendering, you would see it's not.
What's that house gonna be used for up there too? I mean, what's the house?
It's a
Is it gonna
residential
be
house.
We're not
Is it gonna be
discussing,
a
Councilman
bed and
Bailey, we're not
breakfast?
discussing, no, it's not. We're not
It's-
discussing it.
That's what everybody's telling us. It's
Well, why
gonna
don't
be
you
bed and
ask
breakfast.
the...
Everybody, do
person
you have a list
purchases
of
it?
people that are talking to you, telling you don't want it?
Yeah.
You got a list?
I ain't got a list.
There you go. I'm sure, do you have 70% of the people? Do you have a list that's as big as these? You got 50 people in downtown Nelson, you've got 70% of the tracks that's in the north, that's in the south end. 70% are 100% in favor of that, everybody that was spoken to.
Y'all don't really solve anything.
No, we're
Y'all
not.
go from one thing to another.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the problem for the last 3 years since I've been
Okay,
doing this.
but-
So they voted the IGA down with Cherokee, but let's move on to the next thing. So they can do that. Construction drawings for, discuss and vote on construction drawings for the Pickens Street project, which is part of the process for spending SPOS dollars up there.
But do you all understand, everybody's not on the same page, but do you
Let's go ahead
understand?
and, I just opened a discussion for this. Hold on one second, you can speak after the council speaks. Can I get a motion for the construction drawing for the Pickens Street Park project?
I will make the motion.
For the engineering drawings to be done,
Can I get a second?
construction drawings.
You want a second or we're gonna vote on it? How you want to do it?
So are we voting, or do you want to discuss? it? We just
We
got to
vote.
discuss it.
We can vote.
Do you want to vote? We vote. You voted to approve it? Susan?
I do.
Can I get a second?
Motion to vote?
I was
guess we
thinking,
need a motion to vote first.
We don't need a motion to discuss.
No.
So if we want to discuss, we can discuss now. So does anybody want to bring up, you want to discuss the engineering drawings?
I would like to, you know, if you had the drawings, you had the engineering drawings, at least you would know what's feasible and what's not. And you're getting an expert opinion, not opinions that, oh, maybe this will work, where it's just done halfway. So it would be nice that whatever gets done up there, it gets done correctly.
Well, they're required. They're required. By the time that you've already spent $20,000 up there, by the time you put a basketball court up there, you're over your limit. So you're required to have engineering drawings for that, per the SPLOST documents.
But we can go up there and fix what's there, and we're fine on that.
And if that's what you guys want to do for those kids, okay.
Fix the fence.
So you're saying fix what's there, just to fix the fence up there and leave a little bitty
Fix
court?
fence, fix the
These
paving
kids,
and
this guy
everything.
loves you kids, he loves you. Give him a hug when you leave. Whatever. Unbelievable.
We've said how long we've fixed what is up there. Ain't got a problem with it.
Upgrade it,
Yep.
make it bigger and with the fence.
Well, you gonna make it bigger or you gonna keep it the same size? I mean, that's what,
Well, either way, don't you have to have the drawings
If
to
you,
do that?
yes.
We have spent $15,000 on drawing for that whole area up there, just to fix
You've
the
already spent
basketball.
20. It's part
No,
of the
I didn't
SPLOST.
spend nothing.
It's
That's
part
what
of your
y'all spent.
SPLOST process, David. It's SPLOST process. These dollars don't belong to the city, they belong to the people.
Okay.
They don't belong to you. They don't belong to me.
So can you cut the rent down to fix a basketball court, not the whole big old thing?
What
Or
are you
we
talking
gotta do the
about?
whole thing, the
If
parking
you
lot,
have to have
everything. There's
engineering,
no drainage up there, there's no nothing.
David, an engineer will come in, he'll assess that area and he'll say, council and mayor, you don't have drainage, or council mayor, here's my recommendation. It's engineering drawings that's gotta be done anyway to redo that ball court.
Well,
That's all I'm saying.
We'll have him come in and talk to the council, and we can come up with a plan to fix the basketball court, where the kids can play on it. I'm fine with that.
You're
But I'm
fine.
not fine with doing all that up there, that one little bitty area, when we need all this done down here on our big park, that they can't even play on, period, down there. With a wall falling,
You're looking at $30,000, you have $344,000.
30,000 for what?
Oh, the wall that you're talking about right there.
What about the basketball court down there?
The basketball court is gonna need some work on it
It's
after it's
gonna have
done,
to be
but you
completely
still
redone, right?
have, you still have money and you have 2 SPLOST accounts you've not even touched.
And the walking trail.
The walking trails, again, you have more than enough money to do the walking trails. If you put a new ball court up there, you have to have engineer drawings. That's the way it is. Once they do the engineer comes in and does the drawings, the council either approves it or they don't approve it.
Well, if you can get one to come in and make us a drawing of a basketball court with a good fence on it, with a good basketball goal, and not a big parking lot, and all that other stuff, that's fine. That's for the kids. The parking lot ain't for the kids.
No, the parking lot was what the council put on, that was there to give parking for citizens that go to church up there. That's what I was told. But it's
Okay.
part of your capital improvement program. So somebody voted on that and said that it was necessary, or they made it necessary.
May I still say something like that? On that, I understand what everybody's talking about, that's fine. Make it look good for the kids. But your problem is, and the problem that people don't want to look at and say, who is the parking lot going to benefit? Is it going to benefit the church? Is it going to benefit the people that plan on putting the bed and breakfast there? Is who is going to benefit? If you're not going to benefit the people, you benefit the people that down the house.
a lot of people who go to your house park there, so it'd benefit you. people
The
walk
people that come to my house, they have to park in front of my door on the sidewalk. If they do park over there, you all gonna make it impossible for them to park. I haven't had no complaints about, I have not said anything
No,
about.
I'm just saying,
Hey, guys.
I'm not saying.
You trying to go, that's wrong.
Michael, Councilwoman Susan
Yes.
Johnson, could you expand on the bed breakfast
There
rumor,
is-
please?
There is no bed and breakfast. It's a single-family residence. It's 2 bedrooms, an office, so obviously it's not. And it's under contract, being sold to a person who's gonna make it their primary residence. They will be living in it. That's it. It's just a house.
The person buying it, they lived in the city currently.
I believe so.
Where at?
I don't know. I don't know the address
Across,
where that person
up here
lives.
on Blue Ridge Avenue,
I-
where the bed and breakfast is?
I don't know his
Okay.
address, and I don't believe he has a bed and breakfast there either. You'd have to ask.
You're
him.
talking about maybe an Airbnb?
He does live there.
So there's a difference in a bed and breakfast and an Airbnb.
Well, Airbnb then.
Yeah, there you go. So he does have, I don't know if he does, I don't know who the person is.
And if the city doesn't want Airbnbs, they probably could look at changing the rules for that.
We need to start collecting occupancy tax if somebody's written that out.
Why would you do that? Everybody who has a house here, who rents out, you're gonna ask for occupancy tax?
Only short term.
If you're operating it as a business.
Well, I don't see anything like that in any of
If it's an
the.
Airbnb, I don't know, I know Kelsey's looking at it and seeing what our stuff says.
So is it going to be one or not?
No, it's
No,
gonna be a
The same
primary
guy is
residence.
buying both.
He's buying it for his primary
He's
residence.
gonna
That's what she
live
just
there.
So did he tell you differently, or is
That's
somebody?
what I'm hearing.
So, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a rumor,
Yeah.
another rumor, very good rumor.
So maybe he has a personal issue and he's not gonna have one place or the other. I mean,
That
there-
was
there
my
could be
understanding,
something.
but I don't,
that you're not privy to.
it's personal business.
We're ready.
A little bit of conflict of interest and a little bit of that.
On what?
On what?
Park and everything.
On the park?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
I'm gonna say
that
this
is
about what you all
ridiculous.
said, what you just brought up, for my company parking there. I do not, that memory.
I don't care who parks there, it's city property.
I don't have
and
no
it's-
company.
and anybody in the
Like
community,
a big
Michael.
deal.
I should have said,
Michael.
well, I have seen people walk over, I'm just saying that, it's
Michael.
for everybody in the community, not just you. I mean, there's people that park across the house next to you, they park there.
It's a
walk across.
community and anybody can
Oh,
park
that's what I'm
anywhere.
just saying, it'll help everybody who can park there, they park, make a parking lot, it'll help everybody who lives around there, that driveways aren't big enough, they can park there and walk over, walk from the church, walk to the basketball court, walk to your house, walk to whoever, you know, I don't remember the new people that moved in there, the Eleanor house next to you.
Your
But,
Will.
you know, yeah, I mean, Wilk's house too, they can move over there, I mean, they can walk and go anywhere, you know, it's just some place for people to park,
It was
everybody will benefit from it.
primarily for the church. Originally.
For the church.
But
The church don't even have that many members there. Even if
Well-
they have a big funeral, they still, you do, he's always jumping to things and said, putting it there for the church. The church have a meeting. But I understand what you said, make it nice, just make the parking lot nice, fix the ball park where they gonna play basketball. Y'all been doing that ever since 1998.
They've been doing the same thing,
Same thing.
just make it nice, make it nice.
You want to, you know.
Okay, guys, let's move on, please.
I have a question on this drawing, whenever we get to it.
Okay. So back to the discussion of the construction drawings for Pickens Street Park project.
Can I chime in just real quick? Sorry.
Go
On the
ahead.
parking, sorry. You know, we go to this park, you know, that's down here, almost daily, you know, and there's often 4, 5 cars parked there because their kids are playing at the park. So it seems that if we improve the basketball court and we want it for a place for kids to be, it's reasonable that there would be parents that would be parked there, you know, watching their kids play, and it's not unreasonable for them to have a place to park.
Thank you, Michelle. Councilman Hanky, go ahead.
The drawing that you have here on the, it's
this drawing right here, it ain't got a page number, nothing,
Mhm.
Exhibit A.
Mhm.
The house that Miss Johnston has that's next to it,
Mhm.
they come in off Pickens Street. The driveway is currently through that parking lot.
Mhm.
What is their plans like?
The plan is
The
for
ball
the drive
court's right
to
next
be
to the house.
moved, the drive will be on hillside into that house. It will not have anything to do with that park.
So this park is supposed to be isolated on
Correct.
this,
That's
the
correct.
boundary from the house to the park.
Pardon?
The boundary line
Yes.
where the house and the park
The
is.
surveyed boundary line, yep.
And they're, like, they're
Just
fencing
curious.
part of it to define the two. So construction draw, any other questions on construction drawings? Any questions?
You won't bring an engineer in to draw us up, so.
Well, you gotta vote for it.
We have to vote for the engineering
No, not
drawings.
for all of that.
The main thing that he's gonna engineer is gonna be your ball court. As far as the landscaping, you can go in there and put trees in if you want to. I
We
suggest
just
that
had all of
you
them cleared out.
put, I suggest you do
The
right
dead
there.
They were dead.
I suggest you do some type of fruit trees or something up there that would benefit the community and do green space. It's not gonna hurt anything. So those construction drawings, and even if you don't do a paved parking lot, you need to do some type of something with what's there. So he can recommend some parking, something to go on that parking lot.
I'll be glad to sit down and talk to one if you bring an engineer in and, you know, we'll come up with a solution for the kids.
If we could do this, repair that park and do this project for around 40,000, I mean, don't we have the overages in our general fund? I mean, we can use that and we're not restricted to these.
You can use general fund, but how do you,
We got a bunch of money to spend down at this other park to get it repaired too, the main park.
There's always gonna be something, anything other than getting that park done.
you're gonna have some, but you still, with backlog that you have, and this is a business. If you have backlog in your SPOS, why would you move money from your general fund to fund a court that's roughly $50,000 to $60,000, maybe even, I don't know if it'll be 70, it's a multi-court. Why would you not use your SPOS dollars to do that with?
This plan right here is gonna be over 200,000, easy.
If you don't pave it and you do something other than paved, maybe you do a gravel, maybe you do a rock, I don't know, maybe you do something. If there's a drainage issue, engineer comes in, he looks at it, he makes suggestions, and he says, hey, this is what I suggest for this area. He's still gonna design your half basketball court. We have dimensions on there, on that rendering, that was to scale, that tells you what size ball court that you put there. And I believe that's a junior basketball court is what it is. It's a little bit oversized, it's bigger than what you have, but it's a true junior thing. And you could have, it's a multi-court, so you have pickleball for people that want to play pickleball, or you can have basketball. You do have a retaining wall in the back of it, you do have a high fence, you do have the basketball goal. As far as what you're looking at, and I'll grab the picture, but as far as what you're looking at as with landscaping, the only reason to buy the trees, the only reason to buy these trees that's on here with the project is because you can use SPOS dollars. It doesn't have to come out of your general fund. This here doesn't have to be a paved parking. It can be something different. An engineer would tell you if you have drainage issues, what kind of drainage issues, and what the best stuff to use would be. I'm not asking you to pave that. I'm not asking you to do this the way it looks right now. I'm asking you to approve drawings that's part of the SPOS project and part of the process that has to be done where we can put a multi-court there. If you don't want to put trees there, you don't want to put, this pavilion was never going to happen. You already voted you didn't want that. The only thing that I asked that you did was put a slab up there with just a small picnic table where the kids could sit and have a picnic, or moms could sit with their younger kids while their kids played at the park.
What kind of budget are you talking about?
So let me ask you a question. So construction drawing estimates within this proposal and these estimates that we have right now, is this just to draw this out to be able to have that
So this is the rendering, it's already drawn, and it's to scale for that piece of property.
So what's being approved or potentially approved is
the engineering of it. This
That's
is the size
all.
court, this is the wall that we're gonna use, this is how deep we're gonna go, this is how much the court's gonna cost, this is, you know.
Drainage.
So would it
the drainage
be,
there.
for everybody to come to a common ground, is there a way that we could simplify that and just say, okay, well, we don't want, all the things that you just said you don't want to do and they don't want to do, maybe go back to this company and say, okay, is there a way that we can do this a little bit cheaper based off of their proposal?
Yes.
So that way it's not stalling it, but.
You have engineered drawings, you ask the engineer, you give me a list of things you want that says, hey, we don't want to spend $100,000, or we don't want to spend up $200,000, whatever. We had a budget of that with $200,000, but it was just, it wasn't, it was with a $50,000 cover. That's just something that he proposed for the space. You didn't have to use that. You could come back and you could say, okay, we want to engineer drawings, which is part of the process. You don't have to pay for those anyway. Any SPOS project over, and I think they dropped it down lower than 100,000 now. I think it's more like 70.
Which one of these proposals are we looking at?
The one with roof design, and the reason we went roof design is because he was the cheapest. He already had done the rendering. So you could have a conversation with Michael Kidd and say, listen, here's what the council proposed.
Well, I'd like to have him come in and talk to everybody and us get together with what we want, not just one or two people deciding what everybody else wants.
David, do you remember when he did this rendering and we all were in here and he came in and he had a conversation with us?
No, he brought the rendering in that
And he talked about
everybody
it.
decided, and I voted against. I ain't never voted to spend all that money.
But it went through with the remainder of the council.
But right now, it's
Okay.
different council.
I understand that. I get you.
But if you want to bring him in, I'll be glad to talk. We would all be glad to talk to him and come up with something for the kids.
Have we already paid him on that part up there for design for that initial thing?
We ain't supposed to pay him for nothing.
Yeah, we paid, this rendering was paid us $10,000. It's already been paid and it was approved. So, I mean, I know you didn't approve it, I understand that, but it was approved by the council. And the council's 5 members and not just one, please
That's
remember that.
exactly right.
Yes, so council's not always going to agree on everything.
But if you want to bring him in and we can come up with something, I'm fine with that.
The
I'm not
renderings,
approving that.
So do you pay for another rendering and then an engineer on top of it?
No, basically what he would come in and do is he would come in and have a conversation about the area that's up there because he did the design on it. He would come in and then the council would say, hey, we don't want to do paved parking, we want to do something else. You still have to engineer that. You can't
Still
just.
have to have construction drawings, so you
Still
know.
has to go construction.
That's my thing, is just to kind of clarify for everybody here.
Yeah,
What's in
where
this
would-
packet, this is construction drawings,
Yes.
but it's
You
also.
gotta know what you're drawing out before you draw
We've
something.
already
Well,
paid him.
that's, he's
Yeah.
drawing
Yeah.
out what's
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here.
But we're not agreeing on all that.
But at the same time, and I'm just speaking of what I shouldn't probably be speaking, but
That's okay.
we've already spent $10,000 on this project up there, so.
Spent 20.
Yeah.
With this guy, so I think coming to a common ground to be able to get to a common goal is our biggest thing that we need to focus on right now. Because if we've already spent this money, we know we're gonna do a project, we know we're gonna fix it, then we're gonna end up having to have these construction drawings of some sort. So if it means we gotta have them,
Yeah.
whatever needs to be
I
done.
gotta know to accomplish.
But I don't think we should just completely sit here tonight and just write the whole project off and just say, you know, I don't think that's the. But for my own clarification, and I'm sure other people are sitting there going, okay, what exactly are these drawings but I can see now it's construction, this construction.
Yeah, and
What I
you
wonder
have to have it.
as a citizen though, if he's gotta come back in, he's not gonna come back in, I mean, I would come back in for free.
He
to
will.
read
He'll come back in
drawings
for
and stuff.
free to talk about the rendering and talk about the property up there, hear what the council says that they want to do, and then
Which they have
after
not
that.
done it for free, it's $16,000 just to draw it up, right?
Yes, but to come in
It
here,
should be considerably less if we do away with it.
it was 24,000.
Well,
And
okay.
And if you look at some of the other prices, he was the lower of the ones.
Well, we can meet with it, it'll be fine.
So, I mean, I don't mind
I
having.
think that
come
we
in.
need to schedule a work session, and the
Yeah.
council needs to come together as a whole and discuss what the plans are, and everybody be on the same page, because we're, again, wasting all these people's time by coming in here and talking about this, and nothing ever
But you
gets
know, the
done.
thing about it is these people deserve to be heard.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
They deserve to be heard. So,
Absolutely.
I don't view it as a waste of time.
But we don't want to keep, I mean, I just think that, well, we have redesign and we've already spent money.
Yeah.
You know, we just gotta figure out what everybody wants, because, and we've gotta do it within a certain term, because everybody keeps changing seats and current people and,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
gonna
their
never
pressure,
end.
their wants and their needs
It's
keep
just like the
changing.
cameras, you prove
Yes,
that the
sir.
cameras, you make spend more money on cameras.
Go ahead.
Could I mention something about the SPOS?
Yes,
Since
sir.
we're talking about SPOS.
Please do.
Probably a lot of people in here, particularly the kids, don't even know what SPOS is. Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. And here is how we got to where we are tonight. We are a city of 1,300 people. If it were left up to our own means, we wouldn't be talking about building anything. We don't have enough people to support building a good doghouse. Now, the people that run up and down 515 and go to QT and go to all these places are giving us free money.
Yep.
And we are just turning our nose up for some reason. I think there's more going on here than a basketball court.
I agree.
We've got SPOS money running out our ears.
And it's continuing to grow.
And we need to build something for this town that's not the minimum piece of trash. That is my opinion. Don't kill these attempts to do something for this city and do it because you're saving your money. You are saving the money of everybody in the state of Georgia that buys merchandise, food, gas, everything else.
Agreed.
Now, if we're gonna just take the small town attitude and just say, let's just stay the way it used to be, that's not gonna get it. We know that. So why are we bickering over a few $1,000s that's been given to us free? I want us to move on and do something good for this town. When that fence was built down there, that's now falling down, that was engineered by the mayor and council of this city, I told them then, that is not the proper material to build a fence out of. You need to get engineering approval to build a fence down there. They said, no, a landscaper will be fine. So 5 years later, it's falling in. That's what we're faced with, Dave.
Oh, I know, it should have never been built.
Well, it's not just that fence, it's the next thing we build. Some little rinky-dink, little basketball court over there that's too small for the kids to really play on. So, okay, I'll be quiet now, but I think we need to get our priorities back in shape here.
What happens to SPOS money if you don't spend it?
You could have to give it back. You could ultimately give it back and then, that's taken away from something that was.
That should help the city, but we don't spend it and then it goes back to them and
Citizens.
some other city gets to use it instead.
Exactly.
That wants to prosper and,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna table the drawings until Michael Kidd comes in?
That's fine.
Next up is
So,
the
excuse me,
Yes.
just 1 minute. So he's gonna come in, so really it's just come in and redesign everything. So it's gonna
Take his
pretty much.
eraser and erase a little bit of
Excuse
this
me?
off.
I can't hear you.
He can take his eraser and erase a little bit of this off this drawing he's got.
Yeah.
So what is your plan with
The
money?
the nice part, so you can't have a nice park.
No.
You just have to have look at how it looks now. Just a basketball and concrete. It's kind of like Lamar said. Versus having something really nice that the community could enjoy. I don't quite understand your thinking on that.
Y'all are supposed to work for the citizens, not for your own whatever you want yourselves.
If the city was building a park next to my house, I'd probably recuse myself from discussing it, honestly. But it's not next to mine.
Oh,
It's not next
go,
to
but
my
we
house,
build a
it's
building.
under contract. Has nothing to do with me.
We already said we was talking to the designer.
Okay, we're gonna talk to the designer and I'll try to get him in for a work session. Yeah, it's gonna go, yeah, be easy for him, trying to get back into his schedule. Okay, discuss and vote on the retaining wall for School Street. I give you guys a handout on that. We've had a couple of bids that have come in on that. We've also called some folks. You've got Palmer Construction Consultants that came in at $1,500 for the drawings only. Engineered Earth Solutions at $1,200. And then at $450 for a field survey. So, according to Kelsey, she has reached out to, we got some different names. She reached out to those folks as well. One of them was Scott Merrill. We've called him numerous times. I actually met with him. He wanted to do a block wall because it saved him time. And he has not responded back with an estimate for construction drawings. We also have called some other folks, but they said that they're either busy or they only do block walls. So the two that do, and this suffices to use SPLOST with, since we've reached out and we have emails with that information, and we also have phone records. So.
Do you have any reference on how we use these people?
These were recommended by the county, and the county has, they've used them. So.
Which one y'all recommend y'all talk to? Where's the Palmer Construction? Is they local or is
I think they're all, well, I can't, let me see if she put anything in there.
I think Palmer, I think he's out of Roswell.
Is it wrong? One's out of Alpharetta and the other one's out of Canton.
But he's everywhere from, he does a bunch of stuff on Lake Lanier all the way down to the city of Atlanta, and he's all over the place.
The county recommended 3 of them, and Merrill was one of them, and these other 2 were the other 2. So.
Those other 2 here.
Yeah.
Palmer looks like it might be cheaper to this area.
At the end of the day, it is. So, because of your North Georgia Design and Construction, we didn't get our bid in for them, so they just didn't contact us back.
The Palmer guy.
Kelsey's talked with him and talked with the Engineer Solutions, so. I think any of these would be fine. They come with good references.
Now, who will oversee this?
The wall,
Do the inspection.
They'll submit engineering drawings to the council because it's not a large project, so to speak. He'll submit the engineering drawings, the council will review those engineering drawings and then approve it. He'll discuss drainage, he'll discuss material and everything.
And then they'll beat it out.
Yeah, so it'll be removal and installation.
Either one of them give you like a time frame and roughly?
From what I understand, it's, I mean, if we go with one of them for engineered drawings, they'll get them to us relatively quickly. I think they have like a 30-day turnaround.
Who will do the bid process?
Well, you have engineering drawings, the bid process will be done through here. And so he will do the engineered drawings and then he would have to bid on the actual work if they did it.
Okay.
So
he actually does walls too, also?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's under a certain amount, can't we, which is probably gonna be over that.
Yeah, it'll be over 10,000.
Yeah. But I'm ready to, whoever you recommend on this project, I'm ready to vote.
So do you guys want to go with Palmer Construction, which is the lower of the two? I mean, like I said, I don't see a difference in them. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve Palmer Construction Consultants Incorporated for the drawings for the retention wall at the Rebecca Lodge and the basketball court park?
I make a motion to approve Palmer Construction for the drawings for the wall.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay. I'll make a note right here, so I'm making my notes for Kelsey. Yeah, he's gonna, the engineer, we've asked for the drawings to be for a port wall.
And the drawings, you said he was covering drainage issues and everything? right?
Yes, he'll engineer, when he engineers it, he'll look at drainage. We talked to him and told him that we have, drainage issues. You can see the rots caused for drainage issues. I mean, there's literally a pipe sticking up out of the ground.
Can he incorporate fixing that basketball, make sure the wall's going up to fix the basketball court and everything when we say we get done with the wall?
These drawings right here is just for the wall.
Right,
Yeah.
but make sure the grade's low enough with the bottom of the wall where the basketball court can be fixed after
Yeah.
it gets the wall.
Yeah, because it tapers off. I mean, it'll end up extending once we tear down the Rebecca Lodge, but it tapers off on this end, so they can always get in there to fix that ball court.
Yeah.
So. All right, so discuss and vote on the Georgia Power Pole attachment agreement for security cameras. It's just basically them saying that they give us the right to attach cameras to their power poles. Up here where we do dumpsters, also where we have our sanitation truck.
Kelsey said something about an insurance policy. What kind of insurance policy are we going to have to add to for the fire company?
I thought the city's insurance was going to cover everything that happens if we have any damage or any vandalism. I don't think you.
I would think so.
Power pole and the equipment on the power pole belongs to us. So that's Garmin, right?
Maintain insurance to protect the. Yeah, I would say that would be covered under German because it's basically stating that we're not gonna hold them liable for anything.
Thing that happens to our equipment.
Right.
Yeah, she said one time about something we'd have to add to our insurance to do this, but
I don't think you add it. I think Germa covers it because it's city property and those cameras belong to us. We're not asking Georgia Power to provide them. Any questions about the agreement? It's basically just to cover their self is what it is. They're not requiring anything from us.
What was the?
Who is attaching these cameras to these?
The camera people will come and put the camera on there.
Yeah, so if
We
like
have
a
one
camera
down
person
at-
goes up on a pole or whatever, I think that's what this is basically saying,
It
that
is.
it's gonna cover.
And I don't think it's not gonna be at the top, it's just gonna be a certain amount, I think they have that pole over, but it's the one that covers the entrance. And I believe that area down there where the parking, where the trails are, and also up here on, where we do dumpster days, and then where we have the truck, sanitation truck. Can I get a motion to approve the Georgia Power Pole attachment agreement for the security cameras?
I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Georgia Power for the camera attachments.
Can I get a second? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Discuss and vote on the SDS IGA Cherokee. It's the same one, we've already done it, but they had to reissue it because I guess they had to change the verbiage for some of the other cities. Nelson stayed the same. There's no change for Nelson. It's just the same SDS agreement that we've already approved. The verbiage is the same for us. It's not the same for some of the other cities. They just changed it.
I only had, if we're moving on to that, I only have one question.
Okay.
In here, if I can find it real quick. There was a agreement in here where municipal tax collection.
That was, yeah, they do our tax collection for us.
Well, I thought if I read it right, that it said we was gonna do it. I was wanting to make sure that it wasn't gonna be split up.
That's not for Nelson, that's probably for some other cities. Some of the other cities do their own, but for Nelson, we have a separate agreement with Cherokee.
Yeah, so this ain't gonna change.
That's not gonna change for us. We have a separate agreement, and hopefully we'll have, Daniel Reeves is trying to finalize the way for Pickens County. So we'll have that hopefully nailed down where we won't be having to deal with the dungeons. We have a current approved tax agreement with them.
I wish we could get Pickens.
We're trying, Daniel, yeah, we've been talking with Daniel, and hopefully that will come to fruition for next year.
I can't find it, but if it's not gonna change.
It's not gonna change, no.
I make a motion to approve the SDS IGA for Cherokee County.
Can I get a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, new business, discuss proposed fiscal 2022 budget. Rhonda,
Okay.
you're up.
All right, so, looking over the budget, you'll see that it did increase by $45,870. One of the biggest, you'll notice that in the budget for 2022, our fiscal year, it includes a 3% cost of living increase for all employees. Also, you'll notice that it also includes budgeting for 2 full-time maintenance people, whereas we only had 1 at a part-time. Basically, that was one of the things that
It was a finding because for the state, it's anybody that works 32 hours or more is considered full-time, so.
So if we're going to keep him on, he's going to continue working, we might as well go ahead and vote.
Well, it's a requirement.
Yeah.
Based on our audit.
Go ahead and do that. But anyway, you'll notice that that's one of the things that's budgeted for this year. That's part of the increase. Again, a 3% cost of living increase. We also added a sanitation worker this year, so that is also budgeted for in there. A couple little small things. The city council pay, obviously, that has to be increased because that started this year. Gurma was a little bit more, so also allocated funds there. The Cherokee fire tax services also come in a little bit higher this year, so went ahead and accounted for that going into the next fiscal year. Other things like electricity, dumpster rental, and then parks and rec maintenance, just went ahead and included some there, just in case there's anything that needs to be accounted for. So Actually, it looks really good. Our revenues are coming in a good bit higher this year. Obviously, we don't want to get too excited about that going forward. But that gives us the funds we need to be able to allocate doing the 3% cost of living for the full-time. Other than that, that's really all I have in regards to that, but I'm ready to take any kind of feedback so I can do any adjustments before we do the adoption, which will come at the end of the month. So. And also, like I said, the budget amendment, I'm finishing up on that, and as soon as we'll do that adoption for those budget amendments at the end of the month when we do the budget adoption, which is the same thing that we did last year. What this doesn't include is if we do get the American Relief Act funds, that's not included in here. If we do get that, then we'll obviously do a budget amendment.
Well, you have to do, I mean, it'll be an amendment, but it won't hurt us next year.
They don't spend it all the time.
If there's anything that you guys foresee you want to adjust or account for, or anything that you have that you foresee you want to go into next year with.
Now, is this something that they can contact the here and let us know if they have any changes?
Absolutely.
So we can change it.
We've got until the next meeting, and then I'll have another draft if there's any changes you guys would like to see on the budget, we can definitely talk about it and update it.
So until July, whatever that may be.
It should be June the 20-something.
July the 20, is it July?
No, it's
We're in
June.
Oh, we did another meeting.
It's the end of this month. We've got it adopted by the end of this month.
Okay, so we don't have to have another meeting.
I think we talked about it at the 20th something of, it's Thursday, right? Is that what we discussed last time?
It was on Thursday, yeah, 'cause we just got, yeah, it was a Thursday, I do remember it, but, and it was
A
because.
special called meeting.
Yeah, because I couldn't do it on like Tuesday, Wednesday. So take a week to look it over. If you have any questions, give us a call. Any other questions on that? On the budget? Okay. Susan, anything on your?
No.
Okay.
The 24th, June the 24th.
Discuss and vote on combining the two properties on Blue Ridge Avenue, 80 and 68, and then sell as one parcel. So per our charter, this is done through sealed bids or auctions. So we can vote on combining the two properties tonight, and then we can get additional information from Jeff with regards to selling it. So I know that this was something everybody was for, so do you have any discussion, or do you want to move forward with voting? Voting? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the combination of combining of the two properties on Blue Ridge Avenue, Blue Ridge 80 and Blue Ridge 68 to sell as one parcel?
I'll make a motion with combine the two lots and sell one parcel.
Can I get a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
Now, somebody will take that to the courthouse and get it, you get it filed or something like that?
Mhm. Yeah, so it'll be recorded. Yeah. So Jeff will draw those, I believe he will draw that stuff up. Kelsey will take it, record it, and then he'll actually look through the charter and advise us on how the best way to do it is. But it has to be through auction. Sealed bid, I also asked her to get a dollar amount that we've spent on the property
Yeah,
already.
we have to keep up with what we spend on both of them and put a minimum bid out there for it. We probably have to check the health department before we set up too, and make sure it's going to be somebody can build on it.
There was 2 previous houses on it, so they can. I mean, from what I understand, because you've got.
It's kind of a gray area there.
And it might change if you combine lots. So, I mean, the rules could change.
Neither one of them had septic system, don't we, that did it?
I don't know. They did not.
What do they
Not
equal?
according to Katz's record.
They equal a half acre or something?
I think something.
Together?
.60, I think it is.
So that dollar amount's gonna go property and check with county. Building. See if there's any type of septic information that they have on either one of these properties. Next up is to discuss and vote on the qualifying fees for election. And I know that the last time we just left it the same. Do you guys want to leave it the same this year?
Yeah, what is it?
It's like $25.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the qualifying fees for the elections to stay the same?
Make a motion to leave the qualifying fees the same as last year.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous, okay? All right.
I make a motion to
Concludes
adjourn.
our meeting. I'd like a motion to adjourn.
I make a
David,
motion.
can I get a second? Nathan, all in favor? Unanimous.